to another episode of The Issue, the program that brings you all the issues we face in our daily lives. Today it will be with my great pleasure to welcome someone who spent many years in the same career before finally deciding to change to something new. We will explore her reason and decision for deciding to change these careers. I would like for you to join me in welcoming Mary to the show as we look forward to hearing what she has to share with us.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you could be on here. Now, Mary, you've had quite a few changes in your working life, and I'd like to ask some questions about your decisions to change that career. Now, would you like to tell us something about how you started your working life and what factors influenced you into this career?
Well, for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a teacher and really considered nothing else. But during my secondary schooling, especially the latter part, I came to realise that I'd really like to be a social worker. But that had a problem. I had to go to university to get a degree, and it was pretty expensive. So in year 12, it meant that I had to not only get a good enough pass to get into university, I had to get a scholarship because my parents couldn't afford to pay the university fees. Unfortunately, I didn't, even though I passed year 12, it wasn't good enough to get into university, and it certainly wasn't good enough for a scholarship. So I was offered a studentship, which I accepted. And I went to college and graduated as a teacher, and I was a teacher for more than 30 years.
Still sounds pretty interesting. Did you ever consider changing or think of changing your career?
Not at first. I love teaching, and I got a great deal of satisfaction out of working with children and seeing them succeed. But I needed a greater challenge than the classroom, I found, and I started going for promotion, and finally I ended up a principal of a school. But even then, over a period of time, I was a principal for 10 to 15 years, I realised that it wasn't the satisfaction I was searching for, and I started to think about a different future. But I really didn't do anything about it because teaching still was something I was happy about continuing.
Okay. Well then, what made you take the decision or come up with it to change that career?
Well, my health was deteriorating. My blood pressure was too high. I was on medication. I felt under great strain. I felt I wasn't giving the best to my job. I was constantly tired and irritable.
I all sometimes.
And at the same time, my father's health was declining.
That's right.
And he was needing somebody with him more full time and becoming a bit dependent on having someone around. So it seemed like a good time to think about making a decision to change.
Sure, we went after those brownie points.
Maybe.
But did you ever second guess your choice to change careers or stop teaching?
Oh, yes. Of course I did. It was a huge decision to resign my position. Fortunately, I was at a stage of life in my career that I could access my superannuation, but if I'd stayed on more years, I would have had a better pension, and I had to think about all that. But I needed to think about all the parts of my life, just not the financial aspects. And my health wasn't improving, and I really did feel under huge pressure. I thought about it probably for more than 7 months before I took the plunge and put in my resignation. It was a leap in the dark because I really didn't know what I was going to do. I mean, I just resigned.
Well, I suppose with this leap of faith, or leap in the dark as you called it, did it affect your personal life in any way, such as your family or your personal health?
Well, yes, it did, because almost at once my health started to improve, and within a short time I was able to come off the blood pressure medication.
That's good.
And I had more time for my family, and I actually felt happier, more at ease, more relaxed. But I did miss the school. It was such a huge part of my life. And it took me quite a long time to adjust to not working full time. But at the same time, I came to realise that I had other issues that I want and interests that I wanted to pursue.
Okay, so was this the start of a new career opportunity for you?
Yes, it was. Definitely. You may recall that I mentioned that I was interested and wanted to be a social worker.
You did.
But at this time, I couldn't go to university because I couldn't pay the fees. Well, an opportunity came up for me to follow an interest in chaplaincy. And I took that and I really never looked back. I developed my skills and I studied more. I worked part-time as a chaplain and I absolutely love what I'm doing now.
That's good. All right, now the big question. If you could go back in time knowing what you know now, the life you've lived, would you go back and change anything about how your career's come about?
That's a really hard question to answer. Probably not. I believe that the skills and knowledge I acquired as a teacher and then as a principal have been invaluable to me in my new role. As a principal, you learn and use so many different skills, time management, working with others, interacting with a whole range of different situations and people, and so on. I found that many of those skills are transferable. So at the start of my career, I was unable to become a social worker as I wished, so teaching was my second choice. I did love it. I really did. In some ways, I've come a full circle. I'm now doing something satisfying and fulfilling, which is sort of in the same basket as social work. And I have absolutely no regrets that I changed careers.
Okay, well, Mary, thank you so much for joining us here on The Issue. All right, guys, that's all we have time for. Catch you next time.